Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Port Phillip EcoCentre's Culture and Nature Festival, to our second session, Classic Recipes from China. This festival is a new festival that we're organizing. We have organized, it's a festival to celebrate Victoria's diverse multicultural communities tradition and how different cultures connect to nature, and showcasing some nature-linked customs and stories through a series of 12 free events, like this workshop here, the cooking events, gardening, storytelling, films, and panel talks. So it's my pleasure here today to start this second session for the festival, Classic Recipes from China. And before we begin, I would like to just do a bit of housekeeping. So this session here is a Zoom webinar. It's live streamed on YouTube, EcoCentre's YouTube channel, youtube.com/EcoCentre TV as we speak. So it's been recorded, just to let you know. We'd like to ask all participants to stay muted for this session, but however, we have a Q&A box where you can ask questions to us at any time. So be sure to ask any questions as we go along, and we'll be able to engage with you that way. This is also we'll be showing a video, a cooking demo video of this recipe that Zoe will be introducing in just a minute. But if you would like some written instructions, the recipe instructions will be emailed out to you after this event. Okay, now I would like to, as we begin, I would like to start by acknowledging country. So I myself is on Wurundjeri country of the Kulin Nations. So I would like to acknowledge their elders, past, present, and emerging. And I would also like to acknowledge the land that the EcoCentre is located. The EcoCentre is located in St Kilda on the land of the Yalukit Weelam clan of the Bunburang people. So I would like to pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging as well. As with the theme of this festival, I would also like to acknowledge the First Peoples' continuing traditions, culture, and rituals with our country, with our land, our waters, and biodiversity. And I'm really excited that we're hosting this festival and you've joined us today to learn about people's cultures and traditions. So a big woman jika to you all. Welcome to this event. Welcome today. We're gathered here today to learn about different cultures, and particularly today, recipes from China. So we have here with me Zoe, our chef for today. So I'll just ask Zoe to say a bit of hello. Now, as we do that, I'm going to just tell you a little bit about Zoe. So Zoe is a international student from China. She loves cooking, and the reason why she loves cooking is because it gives her new inspirations every day. How exciting. That's really fantastic. And she also says it heals her homesickness and strengthens her ability to independently live in Australia as an international student. Zoe loves to share her cultural food with everyone, and she believes food is the key to unlocking lifestyles and cultures of every country. And Zoe loves exploring different cultures. So thank you, Zoe, for joining us today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you, Reiko, for having me today. And hi everyone, my name is Zoe. I'm from China. I feel very pleasant to be with you and share with you guys about my very proud national dish, tomato fried eggs. You guys will like it, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask me, and we can answer it during these sections.
Excellent. Thanks, Zoe. And also a big happy new year to you and anyone from, I guess, the heritage that celebrates Lunar New Year. Happy New Year. It's the year of Ox, which is actually my brother's year. So that's a pretty special year for him. And I'd like to thank Zoe for joining us on such a big time of celebrations of Chinese New Year. All right. Now, I might also ask Zoe. So Zoe's introducing us tomato fried eggs. Why did you choose this dish?
Firstly, the reason is very simple because this dish is so easy to make, but the dish is also very delicious as well. So basically, this dish was well known in all cuisines in Chinese culture. So basically, everybody in China they know about this dish. So that's the first reason why I want to introduce this dish to our audience, because you can just basically quickly pick up this dish at home with 5 minutes, and you can know why Chinese people love it so much, because it's so tasty.
Yeah, excellent. I love easy dishes, and this dish I would love to try cooking it myself as well. So without further ado, we will like to premiere this video that Zoe had made for us. So I'll just share that with you all now. Okay, here we go. Tomato fried eggs with Zoe.
Hi guys, this is Zoe. I'm from China. Today I'd like to share with you a very well-known and easy to make dish that is called tomato fried eggs. Okay, so for tomato fried eggs, all the ingredient that we need is tomato, mixed herbs, parsley and eggs and oil, salt and some cornstarch, and that's all. Okay, so I like cooking tomato fried eggs because as you can see, the color of this dish reminds me of my arranging. It has red color and then eggs yellow, so combination of the color actually matches with our Chinese national flag. Because I am a poor international student, I came here by myself. I need to do everything on my own, and then sometimes feel really lonely and homesick. But whenever I make this dish, it just reminds me of my families, reminds me of my friends back at home. I know that they're continually supporting me, and then they love me. That gives me a lot of power and encouragement to do my life here in Melbourne. Tomato fried eggs is so easy to make and so delicious that it becomes the first dish a lot of Chinese kids learn at home. It's also same as me. So I learned this dish when I was around 13 or something, and I just feel this sense of accomplishment because this is the first dish that I made. And then it can be marked as my first step to independence. So I highly recommend you guys to try this. So the first step is to scramble eggs. Okay, let's bring the bowl here. And then we need 2 eggs. The first one, are you ready? The second one. Yeah, that's good. And then we use fork. Normally I use chopsticks, but then fork can do the same thing as well. And then when it's halfway down, you can add some salt to season it. That's enough. Okay, continue doing it. Okay, so the second step is to cut the tomatoes into small pieces. The third step is to make cornstarch paste. Now we need to prepare 3 teaspoons of water, and then we add cornstarch, 2 spoons. I think should be alright. And then we're just stirring it using a small spoon. Alright, let's start cooking. Let's get some oil in a pan. Okay, until it's like hot on the surface. When you put some oil inside, when the oil is boiling, then we put the eggs inside. Get the egg. The oil is ready. Now let's pour the egg into the pan. Just be careful because it might spill. Okay. Into the pan. Into down. We can flip it. Nice. Smells so good. I'm so hungry. Put it back to the bowl. And then we can deal with tomatoes. Okay, now let's put the tomatoes into the pan. Oh, the color looks so good. Yeah, it looks about right to me. Then we can add some salt. Add some salt inside. Okay, now we can put the eggs in. And then we can chop the egg into small pieces. Then we just put the cornstarch into the pan to make it looks good. And then we stir it. Now the dish is ready. Now let's put this one into the bowl. Then we can just do some decorations. And then put some parsley on top of it. And then we're done. Okay, so here's my tomato fried eggs. Hope you guys like it. Thank you for watching.
Okay, thank you, Zoe. That was the tomato fried eggs video. How fantastic is that? The one thing I really think this is it's such a different way of cooking from. I'm from Japan. It's a different way of cooking from where I'm from. Is that you wait till the oil is really hot, and I think that's like a really it's a signature of Chinese dish, and you cook really fast and really hot. And I just loved, and I learned just seeing that, go, that's what I'm doing wrong when I'm trying to cook Chinese food. So thank you, Zoe, for sharing that. So to the audience, I would like to say, if you have any questions to Zoe, feel free to please pop it into the Q&A, and we'll be monitoring that and answering your questions as it comes through. Now, I'd like to ask something to Zoe to start with. So you've mentioned that this dish is one of the dishes that you've learned, one of the first dishes that you've learned when you started learning cooking. And I think eggs are one of the first dishes that a lot of people might learn how to cook in different cultures as well. In Japan, we learn how to cook the squared egg omelette that we have in Japan, and that's one of our first dishes that we learned. But can you tell us who taught you this dish, and also what kind of memories do you have growing up when you were learning how to cook? Who was around you to teach you these traditions?
So as far as I could remember, I think I learned this tomato fried eggs when I was 13. So I think it's my mom taught me how to make this dish. there was one day like my mom just complained, oh, you're independent girl, you are 13, you need to like grow up, you need to learn how to cook. And then I said, okay, I'll go and I will learn it from you. And then my mom just taught me this. And I think my grandma also with me in the kitchen. Then we just start cooking. Like she just taught me how to scramble the eggs, and then how to like cut tomatoes and then like make them into like the whole dish. So it was a fun experience because it was my first time, and I'm really scared of the oil. Like when it gets really hot, I'm like really scared. And my mom said, "Oh, don't be scared. Just put your eggs in, just put your tomatoes in." But yeah, it was odd experiences. Now when I was at 2021, when I cooked this dish for multiple times, but I no longer scared of like this oils or anything. But it's all like you build up your skills like step by step, and I can still like remember the first time when I'm making it. I was like so super scared and like nervous, and yeah. But that sense of accomplishment also comes after I make my first dish. So everyone's like really happy and they were pretty proud of me. So yeah, that's basically like very ordinary stories about me, like how to make that dish. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful that your mom just encouraged you to try it out and don't be scared of the hot oil. Because I know in the video you say, oh, just be careful when you pour in the egg because it might pop out. And yeah, that's so true when you're dealing with really hot oil. That can happen sometimes. Is there any other family memories that you have strongly around food? What sort of memories do you have with your family or your relatives around food?
Mm-hmm. So not only tomato fried eggs, right? So it can be many other food. Um, Let me think. I think there was one day, me families, we just, oh, sorry,
That's okay, that happens.
sorry about this. So just one day that we were like making the rice balls. We were making the Chinese rice balls all together, and then we put like we do the ingredients, the red bean ingredients ourselves, and that's like really fun experiences because we get all of our family members together around the table, and we just chat, and we have our music on, and we just do all of this, you know, put it into the bowl, and yeah, pretty fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I think cooking together with other people is fun and also really empowering too. I remember in Melbourne, I have this Japanese friend who makes miso, and I've never made miso before. My mom didn't make it, my grandma didn't make it, so that tradition wasn't passed on to me. But her family had been doing that, so she gathered a group of women and we had a whole day making miso. It's quite a long process, but we sat around in a circle and we squished the soybeans together with the fermentation agent and made that miso. And it was so nice. It was just such a nice way to connect to people when you cook together. I think we have one question coming in from the audience. So somebody has asked, Zoe, what's your favorite Chinese food?
I think my favorite Chinese food is called Hong Shao Rou. It's like the meat. I don't know how to translate it. It was um it was a special meat that we made it like a bit sweet and a bit salty, but then like it's also very soft, so it takes a lot of time to cook it. But then you just eat it with rice, and then that's like super good. So it's called Hong Shao Rou, basically Hong Shao pork. Yeah.
Is that like braised pork, pork chunks or pork belly?
Yeah, like that. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
What sort of taste is it? Do you put in any special spices or is it soy sauce based? You said it's a bit sweet and salty.
Yeah, soy sauce based, but we also add a lot of like sugars as well. I think it really depends like what regions of China you're coming from. Like my region, we did put a lot of like sweet like sugars into the dish, so make it a bit like sweet. But then in some other parts of China, they prefer to make it like a bit salty. So it's all like possible.
Yeah, thank you for that. So it's special way. We've just popped in an answer to the Q&A saying it's a special way to prepare pork. I don't know how to pronounce that dish, but Zoe, if you can type that in, how you might say it in Chinese, or even the Chinese characters, that might be helpful to the audiences. So whilst that's Zoe's doing that, feel free to type in any questions for Zoe as we speak. I might ask another question. So I think a lot of people might be new in trying out cooking Chinese food, especially with hot oil and those fast types of cooking. So recently, I bought myself a wok. It was very cheap. It was about less than $20, but you have to season the wok and make it non-stick yourself. So I did that watching YouTube. I learned how to do that, and then I've been using it ever since for like stir fries and fried noodles and fried rice. But in Japan, we do make those kind of dishes too, but it's we don't always use a wok. So using a wok, it was the first time for me, and now I've kind of mastered it. I'm not too scared of the hot oil anymore. I make sure I chop everything in advance, and it's ready for me to go. So I put it in fast, and I'm really pleased with how my fried rice is tasting now, because it tastes so much better with the wok. So I'd like to ask Zoe, apart from tomato fried eggs, if people are starting to get confident with their Chinese cooking, what sort of dishes would you recommend people to try and cook?
So I probably gonna recommend audience to try a fried noodles, like in Chinese fried noodles, because I also cook it a lot. Because when I study, I don't really have a lot of time to cook. But then fried noodles is also like very easy to make. So basically, you just prepare any veggies that you like, and you can put a bit of meat as well, and then you just normally we do the so the noodles like the steamed noodles or the transparent ones. So both are okay. So Asian noodles, and then you put in the water to soften it, and then you can like use it. You can directly fry it, and then you can like scramble the eggs as well. So you put eggs, your veggies, and then some of the meat that you like. You put it all together, and you add soy sauce. So normally we use two soy sauce, the dark one, and then the not so dark one, but the more like a tasty one. So you add both of them to like season it, and that's basically how I make my like a Chinese fried noodles, and that's like really can build up skills of doing Chinese food, because that's like very Chinese food. Yeah. Yeah. So and it's also easy to learn. So it's like would be the first step if you want to learn Chinese food.
Yeah, and it's super tasty too, fried noodles. Noodles is one of my favorite dish. So I better look that up, because even with soy sauce, in Japan, we use a lot of soy sauce too, but Chinese soy sauce is different from Japanese soy sauce. So the flavors are gonna end up being very different. So on that note, I would like to ask, is there a particular Asian grocery store that you'd go to? Some of our viewers might be in Melbourne. Where would you recommend people to go shopping?
I normally shop at the Asian store that's called 运食. I don't really remember its English name, and all the 老友记, like the one near Chinatown, and then the one near Queen Victoria Market. Those are pretty good Chinese Asian shop. So you can basically go and buy the soy sauce, and that's like the pretty authentic Chinese soy sauce.
Excellent. Yeah, there's I know there's one, a big one on Russell Street, and also near the Queen Vic Market, there's a few Asian grocery stores there too. So yes, if you haven't been to Asian grocery stores, try it out, go inside, just ask questions. Everyone's usually very friendly. So ask them, which soy sauce should I get if I want to cook fried noodles, and they can probably help you out. All right. Now, I've actually popped in a question myself, just so that people are, if they're not used to listening verbally, they can see the text in the Q&A. So at the moment, it's I guess it's towards the end of summer, and at certain times, you might be cooking different types of food at different seasons. So are there any special season of food that you really like to cook, or you have strong memories of in terms of celebrating the seasons? And with this, the theme of the festival, connecting to nature, I think connecting to the seasons is a really strong way of connecting to nature. And yeah, so is there any special season of food that you'd like to share with us today?
I think probably I would recommend 粽子 because the 粽子 Chinese 粽子 is the one that you can easily buy in any like Chinese store, and then we eat it during Dragon Ball Festival, I think. But then because I really like them, so sometimes I just buy it for my breakfast, and then whenever I eat it, it reminds me of that festival, Dragon Ball festivals.
When is Dragon Boat Festival? And what's Donzi? Like what sort of food is it? Can you explain a little bit, please?
Okay, zhongzi is more like the sticky rice. They mold it into a triangle, the zhongzi, and then inside we can have like red bean or like the sesame or like can be like meat as well. So basically, that festival was to memorize a Chinese famous poet who died for actually I forgot died for what reason, but like died for the people, and then people kind of memorize that poet, so they kind of started that festival just to celebrate this this great person. Yeah. So we eat zongji. That one is called zongji. Basically, yeah, sticky rice. Yeah.
Sticky rice with fillings.
Yeah.
Yeah, yum. I remember getting those on, I think, Russell Street once. There's a restaurant that sells buns, and I think they might have been selling those as well.
Yeah.
Is the Dragon Boat Festival, is it a summer event, or which season was that?
Let me quickly search for it because to be honest, I also forget as well. So it's on 14th of June.
Oh, okay.
So, yep.
Excellent, 14th of June. So coming this June, you all might want to look out for Donzi. I think it's Chinese language is a very difficult language to pronounce, but if Zoe could just type it in for us in the answer, that would be really helpful, and people could look out for that food and try it out themselves. All right, now if you all have any questions, please do pop it in the Q&A here, and Zoe's here to answer any questions. But what I might say, growing up, I guess China and Japan is very close. So we have a lot of influence from China in our cuisine as well, such as the noodles, the dumplings, all sorts of rice dishes, the sticky rice dish. And I remember we had a very close family friend who was Chinese heritage, and she taught us how to make dumplings. She taught my mother how to make dumplings. And then dumplings became my favorite food. So my mom always asked me to help her make dumplings when we were having dumplings for dinner. So I had to learn how to, wrap the dumplings, and we were a family of 5. So we had to make a lot of dumplings, like, 50, 70 dumplings for a meal for dinner. So she'd always come and ask me to help, and it was a way for me to learn how to make dumplings. But what sort of, I guess you did say your mother taught you how to make tomato fried eggs. Is there other dishes that you have been passed on from your mother or other people of your family?
Mm-hmm. I feel like dumplings could be one of them, but I would say that even my mom is not so good at making dumplings, but like as long as it's eatable, like the shape may not look so good, but it's eatable. And yeah, I actually learned a lot of like Chinese food when I came here to Australia. I just look on the receipt on the phone, and then I just started to making them myself. So yeah.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, so you've learned more as you are living here on your own. And I think that's the case with a lot of people too. Once they start living outside of their family and be more independent, they start learning more about how to cook. And they might just, message mom and say, hey, I need a recipe for this. That's what I do all the time. If I need a recipe for something, and I know mom has it, she'll just take a photo of it and send it to me. And yeah, teach me that way, I guess, because I've been living away from home from a long time as well. Now it's also I might just start wrapping up in case there's more questions coming through. But it's Chinese New Year, so Happy New Year, Zoe. What are some of the food that you've been eating these days to celebrate Chinese New Year? Have you been able to go out with your friends, or have you been doing some cooking together? Or have you been engaging with your family back home? What other things are you doing, not just around food, but if you can tell us about some rituals that you have with Chinese New Year? I think it's a 2-week long time of celebrations. What are some of the things that you've been doing these days?
Okay, so to be honest, this is actually the first Chinese New Year that I spent like without staying with my families. It's my first Chinese New Year here in Australia, but I did hang out with my friends here in Australia, and then we basically just do takeaways. We like bring food from the restaurant, and but it's all like Chinese food, and then there's one like very unique dish that we call yu and then my friends, they mostly are from Malaysians, Indonesians, and then they say they eat this during the Chinese New Year, and then they say it's a Chinese thing. But as a Chinese, I can confidently tell you guys that I never eat yusen before in China, in mainland China. So it's like also like new knowledge to me. And I said, oh, and I check it on Wikipedia, and then they say, oh, it's actually Malaysian, Indonesian, Singaporean, how they celebrate Chinese New Year. They eat yusen. So basically, they put a lot of like different ingredients. I don't even know how to say it in English, but like different like dishes, like a peanuts, like noodles, a bit like they mix together, and then basically we just use chopsticks to do to throw the food, and then the higher you throw, it means that more luck you will get. And then while you throw it, you're gonna say, for example, I wanna get all H1 in my study. I wanna find a girlfriend. I wanna buy a new house. So something like that. Just say out your best wishes, and then you do this. You do this. So it's also my first time to try this with my Malaysian Indonesian friends. So it's a really new New Year experience and activity for me. Yeah.
Excellent. That is so cool to hear from you that you've learnt different Chinese cultural traditions from your Malaysian Chinese and Indonesian Chinese friends.
Yeah.
Because when we say the word Chinese, it means so much. There's regions of China that have all distinct different languages and cultures. There's also Chinese people who have migrated to other parts of the world and developed their own unique cultures with I guess, the Chinese heritage that they have. And I know I was living in Indonesia for about 2 years. And I was often mistaken as a Chinese Indonesian person because I would always go to the markets in Chinatown and go shopping there because, that was what I was familiar with. So everybody would think I was Chinese, but I couldn't, I couldn't interact in the same way. So it was, it was fun, but also, there was a lot that I didn't know of. So yeah, that's really interesting to hear from Zoe that she's learned some new traditions from her friends celebrating Chinese New Year in Melbourne away from home. Yeah, thanks so much. So we might just wrap up with this one question, which is, it's a really good question. So someone says, so interesting. Thank you, Zoe. Thanks for sharing your stories. Which part of China are you from? And what are some of the special dishes from your hometown?
So I am from Hangzhou. It's a Zhejiang province. It's like I think 4 hours right from Shanghai, because everybody knows Shanghai. And then my city was called Hangzhou. Is where Alibaba was founded in that city. So there were actually a lot of famous dishes in Hangzhou, but then again, it's really hard to translate into English. But can I quickly search online and just give you guys some names of? Let me see if I can find the English.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and search online because no, it's not always the term in English is not always available, of course, because it's not an English thing. So go ahead. So we might just wait for Zoe while she's searching online.
Yes, so I just quickly find it some of the famous Hangzhou dishes. The first one would be sweet and sour West Lake fish. There's a beautiful lake, and actually Hangzhou is famous for that lake. It's West Lake, and then we have that fish inside the lake, and then we make that into a beautiful dish that we call sweet and sour West Lake. And it's almost like the most famous food in Hangzhou. The taste was like a bit tender and fresh, and then the sweet sour sauce poured on the steamed fish makes it more delicious. Yeah. And then we also have something called dompo pork. So dompo pork is also another very popular food in Hangzhou. And then this food actually is related to a famous poet in ancient China. So dompo is the name of the poet, and this dish was actually named after him. So this dish was cooked by braising finely skinned thin pieces of strictly bacon with a famous Shaoxing wine. Shaoxing is a place. That place they have a wine, Shaoxing wine, in a silk pot for hours. When the dish is ready, the bacon is moist and red. It smells sweet with a fragrance of rice wine. The pork is fat and soft, but not greasy, and tastes very delicious. Yeah, I love that one. Yeah. And now, another one would be the fried shrimps with longjing tea. Longjing tea is also something that we Hangzhou, the place that grow a lot. We grow very famous for that tea, and then we made that into a dish as well. So basically, we put tea and fried shrimps all together. That too can produce a very unique taste, and so I really recommend you guys to try it. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, Zoe. Thank you for sharing those. We might say, so Zoe is from Hangzhou. So if you Google Hangzhou, you might be able to find these dishes online. So it's Westlake fish and dango pork. Apologies if I'm butchering the translation and not saying it well. But yes, thank you all so much for joining us today, myself, Reiko, and Zoe, for our first cooking demo show. That video was really exciting, and I was I'm so pleased to be able to share this dish from Zoe to you all, the tomato fried eggs. So this recipe, if you've registered for this webinar, it will be sent out to you all in text. So that might come in the next week or so. So please hang on for that. If you'd like a brush up of how to cook this meal, tomato fried eggs, this webinar is recorded on YouTube EcoCentre TV channel. So go to EcoCentre TV and have a look again to make sure you've got those cooking instructions with you when you try out tomato fried eggs. Now, this Culture and Nature Festival is happening throughout this week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday and Saturday till Saturday. So we have about 11 more events happening. So go to ecocentre.com, CNF 2021 to see what else is on. We have a watch party on Facebook after this at 7 p.m. to screen our short documentary, Baykeepers. So go on to Facebook and watch Baykeepers after this, if you're keen. We also have more cooking demos coming up tomorrow and also on Friday. And we have a very special panel talk tomorrow night, as well as a panel talk on Friday and 3 exciting workshops on Saturday. So thank you all so much. Thank you very much to Zoe for sharing her culture, her Chinese culture and food with us today. And I will see you all at the next event. So thank you, everyone, and have a good night.
Thank you, everyone, for having me. See you.